Hey guys, this is Gaijin Hunter. As most of you already know by now, I'm maining Prowler in Monster Hunter Generations, and I think it's a fabulous, almost 15th weapon of the game. Now, a lot of you have a lot of questions about scouting and how it works and what builds to make and how to get them, and so I went through all the official guides, pulled together a lot of the information, and wanted to make what I call the ultimate scouting guide. This is more of a cheat sheet or a handbook so you can get a better understanding how scouting works, and also which village you might want to focus on if you're looking for one particular cat. Okay, let's jump in. Okay, before we go on to the skills, I want to talk about some of the upgrades, because there's 3 different upgrades you can do for scouting and your cats. First one is inventory size. This just affects how many cats you can have in your inventory. If you notice, by the time you reach HR 5, you'll automatically unlock them up to 60. But there are some different Prowler focused quests that you can unlock and do to unlock your inventory a little bit earlier. I don't find this all that important, to be honest. Scouting level though is very important. If you notice, you start at level 1. If you want your scouted cats to be at a level 5, you have to either do the Village 4 quest, Arctic Point Expedition, or reach HR 4. HR 5 and HR 6 will then subsequently unlock the new levels that you can scout your cats at. Now, level cap is super important because this tells you how far you can level up your cat. You start out being able to level up to level 20, and then at HR 4 there is a cat quest that you can do that's really easy. It's unlocked by default once you hit HR 4 that will bring that cap up to 35, so I highly recommend you do that. Your final upgrade to unlock it up to level 50 cap is the HR 7 final Prowler quest called Monster Hunter, or to reach HR 30. Honestly, unlocking Monster Hunter takes a lot of work, so it's a little bit tedious, so I recommend you just go online, break your cap, and once you hit 30, you'll be good to go. Okay, once you let one of the villagers know what type of cat that you want to scout, all 4 villages will scout for the same type, and they'll have a different list on every one. These are the fixed skills that you get when you're scouting a cat. So for example, if you scout for a fighting type, it will always have Ferocious, and it will have a 50-50 chance of either having Pierce Boomerang or Demon Horn. It always has the fixed skills of Attack of S and Handicraft. I highly recommend that if you're scouting a fighting cat that you make sure it has Pierce Boomerang, not the Demon Horn. Same goes with the Collect cat that have the Pierce instead of Camouflage. And make sure you get Emergency Retreat if you're scouting a Protect cat or an Assist cat. These are very, very important skills that will come in handy down the line no matter what playstyle you use. Also note that all Prowlers have Mini Barrel Bombay and Herb Horn, so those are just sort of a given. Now, when you scout a cat, there's a hidden table behind that the game uses to determine what type of skill composition it could have. The Charisma cat has its own table because it gets 1 extra support move than all the other cats, and all the non-Charisma cats are the ones on the right here. So here you can see, like, these are not actually slots. Like, 1 times 8 does not mean a 1 cost skill times 8. What we're talking about is cost of the actual skill, which we'll have in the next few slides. As you see here, you can only ever get 1 3 cost skill, so make sure you look at the list and understand the composition so you know whether your dream cat is actually possible to get or not. So you might be wondering, which village do you want to scout at? I definitely recommend you go back and check all the scouters and see what selection you have before you go on to another quest, but know that each village has a different bias. So Kokoto village is focused more on attack skills, and you'll see later on that the amount of attack skills, which is sort of like armor skills that you can get, is much higher percentages for Kokoto. Defensive skills are sort of the bias for Poke, and for Yukumo it's support skills, and for Burna it's absolutely random. So you definitely want to check all of them, but if you know specifically that you're looking for an attack skill, you might want to focus your efforts on Kokoto village. That being said, Niantail X came from Poke, and all the skills on there are almost the lowest percentage possible, so anything is possible with the RNG. Okay, here is a list of all the different support moves. These are the moves that you can activate during a hunt and perform. So we have the cost. Again, this is not how many points it takes to use, this is the cost internally for the game system to determine how powerful it is and what composition you can have. So here are the cost 3s, the cost 2s, and the cost 1s, and all the percentages that you might get that depending on the village that you're scouting at. This is a great image, I think, to sort of take a screenshot and a cheat sheet so you know which village you're more likely to get the ones that you want. Now, as far as personal recommendations, if you're using an assist cat, I definitely like to grab the Shock Prison because you already have a poison trap hole, so to say. So being able to use a shock trap on monsters that you may not be able to use the trap hole on would be very cool. Plus it's 1 point less. Obviously Dung Bomb is very popular because it's just really great to be able to dung small monsters or get monsters off of you. T-Torque's Horn is popular for Palicos, and all the other ones just choose the ones you like, except Mega Boomerang. I do find that pretty useless because you're going to want Pierce and big boomerangs. Okay, and here are the skills. Again, the cost here is the internal system, not the actual points it takes to activate. For example, you'll see 9 lives defense, which costs 4 points to equip, is over there in the cost 1 slot. So it's actually not considered that killer of a skill to have it to be so high cost. Obviously, the most popular skills, especially if you're running a Boomerang Cat, is going to be Earplugs and Boomerang Pro. As long as you have those two, technically you have an okay Boomerang Cat. There's nothing more that you absolutely need. However, a lot of people do recommend Critical Up S because there's always that one extra point that you can't fit something in and it's very powerful, or Critical Up L for when you're starting sort of mid to mid-late game. The reason why is because at higher levels, Critical Up L will actually do more damage and cost less than the Attack Up L. That being said, a lot of these things are really great. Counter Boost I love. Of course, it doesn't work unless you get hit, but if you get hit, it does give you a lot of boost, so if you need to heal or do something like that. But really, all these, just pick the ones that you really like. If you're going for Palico builds, Negate Confuse is a very important one, because there are certain things that will cause certain cats to freak out, so having Negate Confuse can keep your cat in top condition doing what they're supposed to do. I hope you guys enjoyed this quick little video. I hope you guys now understand the system a little bit better about how the skills are chosen behind the scenes, what kind of setups are actually possible, and the different village biases. I hope you guys enjoy the Prowler system. I absolutely adore it, and I hope one day to make a full-fledged tutorial on how to use it properly. Until next time, happy hunting.